Shalom. Kal halalim la abanoa Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of our body, and shalom to the 144,001 third. May peace and blessings be upon you and your households. We're going home, Yasharala. Okay. Things are looking up for the elect, but for this kingdom, it's finito. It's finished. All right. I'm going to play a video. By the way, copyright fair use, 1976. Not making no money out of this. I'm going along with what's already being said. I'm just going to throw in a few lovely scriptures, Lord willing. It's a cross section of people, different types of ethnicities, if you want to say, visually speaking, of course. Something, others we know that's not always the case, when it comes to our people. But nevertheless, I want to play the video. I don't want to digress too much, but read a scripture before. Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Now, just to say also, this is New Egypt. All right. Now, I reside in the old world, which is England. The new world is America. America, our brother and sister. The UK birthed America. Okay, so part and parcel. This is let's just say the head office would be England, let's just say the head office would be America now, because it's the New Egypt, right? Everything else is just another office, or regarding the business of the so-called white man. Wherever the so-called white man's strongholds are. All right, so this will be Egypt. Hence the reason why they have the pyramid on the dollar bill. And there's obviously not just that alone. There's many scriptures and historic aspects that let you know that we're in Egypt and Rome all over again, but we're at the tail end of this rulership. Okay, we're at the concrete feet of the statue in the book of Daniel. Excuse me. All right. Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So there's the many woes of a cross section of different people. All right, in the UK, we're going to focus on the UK and just play that video. Let's go with it. Where is it? Okay, so the job market. All right, there's a lot of ghost jobs. People are applying, and the powers that be tell these companies to do this ghost advertising as well. I always say it's a combination of both. The powers that be say, okay, do it to frustrate people further so they can crash out even more. Plus, a lot of them are vaccinated with the snake juice during the 1-9 period, right? Along with a lot of other drugs that they're on, okay, to balance themselves out. And the frustrations and the fact that they can't, even if they do have a job, they've got to get a second or a third job because they can't afford to pay the rent, have food, and things of that nature. Okay. The basic things. If you've been out of work, say, when you were a young man, initially starting out 20, 25 years ago, when you were out of work, you balance yourself out somehow, right? You were young, you got a little help from family, whatever. And then as soon as you get a job, right, things balance out, don't they? Right? You're able to take a woman out, you're able to put fuel in your car, you're able to put food on the table, pay bills or whatever, right? You're able to do your basic things. You subtract the job out of the situation, you don't have a way to earn your daily bread, what happens? Disarray, worry, stress. How are you going to keep a roof over your head? How are you going to pay bills? How are you going to take care of your children? How are you going to get to work? How are you going to eat? How are you going to pay for lunch? All these things come into effect, all right? So we're at a point where it's pretty much the same temperament, mindset, and same story, be it here, America, Australia, France, any part of the strongholds of the so-called white man. Yeah, let's go. And the so-called white man being Esau, Edom, the Edomites. Okay, heathen nations are suffering too. Okay, um, everyone's getting it. Everyone's getting it. But the emphasis is on the so-called white man. They're getting it more because this is their rulership. All right, Deuteronomy 30 verse 7. These curses are coming on these devils. All right, let's go.
Okay, I'm just going to shamelessly do this. My name is Dana. I've been a model for about 9 years. I have a marketing degree. I also have a certification in front-end development. I can speak 2 other languages. I'm currently living in London, and I've been applying for jobs for over 6 months and zero responses. So if anyone knows anybody hiring, I'm more than happy to send my resume.
One thing for sure and 2 things for certain. Listen closely. If you have a job in this economy, you best hold on to that shit tight for the next 4 years, a minimum. This UK job market is no joke.
Yeah, if you got a job, hold on to it tight. Even Elder Apostle Tahar said it. You know, if you got a job, you don't like it much, but it covers you, covers your bills. I don't, I believe what the elder probably didn't say in these specific words, but paraphrasing it, the elder apostle Tahar said is if you got a job that pays the bills, you may not like it much or whatever, right? Stick to it. Just stay with it, okay? Because finding a job right now is damn near impossible unless you are part of the Lord's elect, and the Lord is gonna just, you get into a situation, the Lord will give you a job straight away, you know. And if it takes a while for you to get a job, not that we're here that long, of course, but if it does take you, a few weeks, few months, or whatever, the Lord will give you a way to sustain yourself. All right. Because anybody that trusted in Yahweh Shemeshai, right, the Lord didn't ever see the righteous beg for bread, or put the elect or the righteous in a situation where they have to beg for bread, right? Paraphrasing scripture there.
Speaking from someone that used to bang jobs, UK job market that shit tight for the next 4 years, a minimum. Job in this economy, you best hold on to that shit tight for the next 4 years, a minimum. This UK job market is no joke. Speaking from someone that used to bang jobs from left, right, center, the game's gotten tougher. I better start racking up that bread, cause ciao.
You know the economy's bad when people who study those really well-respected subjects are just broke. Yeah, I had a friend called me. He did an engineering degree. He can't find a job. I got friends who've done maths degrees, economic degrees, and they're literally working in retail. Like, eventually they'll get a job in that field of study, but not for a while. And they got to go through so many steps. They would have been better off if they just became an Uber driver. Honestly, that's how oversaturated you need degrees.
Yeah, listen, being an Uber driver is oversaturated as well. Okay, being an Uber driver, people have to pay for Uber as well. So if people don't have a job, how are they going to pay for Uber? A lot of people that don't have that what you call disposable income actually walk to locations. If their job is, say, 3 miles away, they're not going to catch a bus or take a cab. They might walk there. They might say, you know what? If I was driving, I would leave at 4:55. No, I would leave at 10 past 5 to go to work to start at 6. Or leave at 5 to start for 6, right? Okay. Sorry, you leave at 5:15. You start for 6 if you're driving. But if you're walking, you might say, you know what? I'm walking there, so I'm gonna leave around about 4:50 in the morning to get there for a 6 o'clock start. A lot of people are actually walking to work now. All right.
Are. And some of you are still trying to study some ridiculous subject because it's fun. Yeah, you want to study your philosophy and your gender. My friend, you're going to struggle if you do that. God bless if your parents are rich, yeah? Do what you want. But if you do it outside of that reason, you're an idiot. You're either ignorant, naive, or just stupid.
Can we just talk about finding a job after uni? So I graduated like 6 months ago.
And if you notice, one or two of the women that have been shown here so far ain't bad looking. All right. Semi-attractive or whatever, however you want to say it, right? Now, they don't have jobs. All right. This is when Isaiah 4:1 kicks in. Okay. where 7 women or more, 7 just means completion, will gravitate towards one man. All right. Paraphrasing the scripture, basically, when that time comes, because they'll be looking for the men of the Lord. All right. And the men of the Lord are in every country, by the way. Okay. Whoever they are. Okay. Only Yahweh Bashim Yashai knows. Because they'll have no covering. They want that covering of the man of the Lord. Okay. They want that protection. You won't have to have you won't have to bring nothing to the table except be a man of the Lord. If I can say it that way, the women have to do everything. They just want to be called by thy name. Actually, you know what? Let me just read it instead of paraphrasing it. Reading is better. Isaiah 4:1, King James Version. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name, to take away our approach. Excuse me. Because in this world, what do these women say? Ain't nothing going on. Something like ain't nothing going on but the rent. What you gonna do for me? What have you done for me lately? All that other shit that women spew. All these songs that push women to have that same mindset. And you women and you singers that push that, you're gonna get judgment too for that nonsense, man. Right? And women ain't gonna be saying, oh yeah, you gotta be, you gotta be 6'4", with a 6-pack to have me or whatever. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong for a woman to desire a handsome, comely Jake. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, in that specific day, ain't gonna be none of that on the table. Well, you gotta earn 6 figures, because that's gonna be out the window. Or you gotta be a certain height or a certain build, that's gonna be out the window. They're just gonna want the covering of a man of the Lord. You know what I mean? Because as the scriptures say, man, they'll eat their own bread. They're gonna, just like the lioness does the hunting, and the lion just chills, kicks back. You know what I mean? Letting his fro blow in the wind, whereas the little cubs play around him. You know what I mean? Trying to impress their father. The lion and the lionesses. They go out. What do? They go and do the hunting, bring the food, the prey, the kill, whatever. They get their own bread, right? And in this case, women are going to have to bring something to the table in terms of they're going to have to cook, clean, sew, wash their ass right. They just want to be covered by the man of the Lord, man.
And I have just got my first interview. I have been applying like crazy. Like, it's literally a full-time job. Like, it's like you literally work so hard to get your degree, and then it's almost like you have no time to feel like you've accomplished something, because you're just constantly like, okay, like, get a job quickly, like, and everyone's like, no, you don't have experience, like, we need someone with experience. And it's almost like that degree is just kind of like for nothing. Why is it so hard to work? Like, I'm offering you labor. Why is this a thing? Like, I don't get it.
It's called real life, lady. Government job. The only time you probably have so-called fun in this world is when you're in high school. If you can have a little bit of fun. I don't know about high school kids now, but back in my day, back in the younger days, back in the early 90s, it was a different world, of course. That's probably the only time you so-called carefree for a bit, because the pressure's on your parents' shoulders, right? And all you want to do is just go to school every day and play, play whatever sports, go to your classes, try and chase the girls or whatever, look good. That's what it was about back then, And after that, it's called the real world. Once you leave, you leave school, college, or whatever, that's it. You got to go out there and graft. But right now, that grafting is not even there available. It's not available no more.
Especially if you don't really have experience. I just don't feel like it was pushed on students.
And how are you going to get experience if they don't even give you a chance? That experience can only be gained once you give that individual a chance.
At uni, then you start from square one, like applying for apprenticeships, applying for work experience, volunteering. Like, we're not taking on any more people, and I'm like, reiterate the non-paid part. Like, you don't know what you're doing, you feel like a bum. I just would like to know what this system is. Like, why is this a thing?
Why is the UK grad scheme market, entry-level market, job market in general so cooked? Bro, I've been trying to find jobs for ages, yeah, like full-time jobs, entry-level jobs, grad scheme jobs, just trying to get some experience under my hand, get a few, dollar, sweet money. But no one's hiring. No one's hiring. What's going on? They say anyone with these transferable skills can apply. I have the transferable skills necessary, yeah, from my previous experience and stuff. But then when you go to the interview, they reject you after the interview. It's so cooked. It's genuinely so cooked. And then if I go back and do a master's, yeah, and then I graduate with a master's and then apply for the same types of roles with a master's, they're just going to say I'm overqualified.
Yep.
So it's a lose-lose situation. What's going on? What is genuinely going on? But then to apply for an internship, you need experience. But then to get experience, you need to have like 5 years level of PhD worth of intellect, which no one has. I'm actually so done with the job market. Obviously, I'm going to carry on and continue applying, but it's just forced me to pursue my passions. Passions being TikTok money and tutoring, which isn't stable. I just want a 9 to 5. Like, I've genuinely given up trying to be rich. I just want a 9 to 5 with a decent 30k salary. Bro, give me anything. I don't care. As long as it's halal money.
The UK job market strikes again with people now staying in jobs that they don't like just because they can't secure an interview and get a job elsewhere. This post on Reddit says, anybody else stuck in a job I hate and the job market is terrible. This person then goes on to say they have a secure, decent paying job, but they hate it. The work environment is toxic and hard work is rewarded with overloading, constantly picking up other people's work. They say they go home feeling overwhelmed and stressed about what they need to do tomorrow. And they can't even enjoy holidays because they know people are looking for them. So this person wants to actively get out of the job they're in, but they can't seem to secure an interview elsewhere. And I think this just sums up the UK job market at the moment. Even the people in skilled jobs who have decades of experience are struggling with the UK job market. And the more and more I look at the landscape, things are getting worse and worse. But who's to blame for this? Is it the fact that companies can get away with paying a low wage because they know that the government will step in with universal credit and top up salaries? Or is it the fact that the government prevents investment in the United Kingdom because they've damaged the economy so much? When you look at the world and look at the USA, the opportunities are so much more. The pool of talent is greater. And there's way more money flowing into the USA compared to the UK.
In the USA, people are complaining over there. Why do always people assume that New Egypt's going to have more blessings? Okay, granted, there's individuals that leave the UK and actually find a job over there. That's true. Or they work remotely. That is true. That is true. Okay. But for the most part, okay, obviously, I don't know, this person probably doesn't know. America is ground zero. America is in a way, well, listen, America, England, they're all in real bad shape. Okay. Collectively, the job market, like everybody else is saying here on this video, is cooked. It's finito. All right. You can keep trying, of course. If you're going to get a job, you're going to get a job. But, for the most part, it's finished.
And even countries like India and China are seeing companies flock to them over the UK. So what can be done about this crazy UK job market? I think more investment is needed into the UK economy. But to do that, the government needs to make things exciting for people to want to come to the UK. Right now, there is no benefit for companies to come to the UK and create meaningful jobs. And companies know they can get away with paying shocking salaries because the government will step in with universal credit and top up that salary. And I think as long as people are willing to take these jobs that are pretty low paid, then companies will continue to offer them. I don't see the UK job market getting better anytime soon. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Do you know what actually really gets on my last nerves? These job applications, like, what the hell? I spend hours, I'm not even joking, hours on applications, on even just like one application, because apparently putting my CV isn't enough. They want more information. They want me to rewrite my education history. They want me to rewrite my employment history. I'm doing all of this. I'm rewriting cover letters.
That's because AI is controlling it. Okay, if human eyes were actually watching these, looking at these resumes or CVs, curriculum vitae, right? They would actually use a human being would read it and say, okay, yeah, this person's got potential. They'll actually give you a call. That's how it used to be when you used to post your CV or resume online. They'll give you a call. All right, you get called from agencies, you'll get called from employers. Now it's AI is involved, and AI only reads specific terms. They're triggered for specific words and terms. So hence the reason why you're asked to rewrite everything again, even though if you have a top-notch CV or resume. There's not even humans that are responding to most of these applications that are being sent out. Then there's no humans in responding for the most part.
It's like specific to your jobs. I'm changing my CV specific to your job role, and you don't even have the decency to respond to my application. Not even a rejection email, just
because there's no humans dealing with it for the most part.
Pure ghosted. Like, at least if I get rejected, I know that you've probably not even seen it, but you've at least seen my name and that my application has come through and you've just rejected me. But to ghost me and not even give me a response, that shit hurts.
The UK job market is absolutely cooked for students. So the number of young people who are either not in education or without a job has hit 1 million people in the UK. And I personally believe this is because there's simply not enough jobs. Every day I speak to loads of students who are very, very talented. However, they keep telling me that there's no jobs available. And I think this is just a summary about the UK decline. People are spending over 3 years at university to get a piece of paper with a certificate as a degree. They're trying really hard to upskill themselves. They're doing job interviews, but no employers are actually employing people. This is very concerning because this number is growing a lot. And in 10 and 15 years' time, there's going to be a generation of people without work experience, so they can't get a better job. Now, this is one of the reasons.
We don't have 10, 15 years yet. All right. The Lord is speeding up the time for the elect's sake. All right. And we know that.
Why I left the UK as well. And I would encourage a lot of young people after they've left university or they can't get a job to contemplate, okay, is the UK a good place to have a career, to set up a family? Or instead, there might be better opportunities abroad. For example, in Europe, there's loads of employment, and in the US. Not only should you leave the UK just to find employment, but also there's a lot of remote work out there as well. So instead of applying for jobs for UK-based companies, try and apply for jobs overseas. Because a lot of international employers with big workforces want a 24/7 workforce, i.e. they want people in different time zones. So if you're in the UK on UK time zone and you're working for a US company, you might be able to bring advantages to their company. And I've created a list of job boards which are specifically for remote work. If you want access to that list, then DM me the word list and I'll send it to you.
We're approaching the end of May and I'm still unemployed. In the past month alone, since April, I put in about maybe 400 applications across many different sites for many
400 jobs. Jake is, well, looks like a Jake. 400 applications he's made, right? 400 applications. Let's listen to what he's saying again. Excuse me, I apologize for clearing my throat multiple times. All right, as mentioned before, many videos. When I'm making a video, my throat just dries up extra. It's just more than likely Satan effing around, right? Let me just read the scripture 1 second. Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. We'll read 12. 12 and 3, Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. We already know that the music and the entertainment and the romance and optimism that music used to provide, that feel-good factor, is out the window. Hence the reason why a lot of people still gravitate towards what they call the old school or old head music, right? That's number one. Number two, you got also, the grinding, because the Bible is written by Jake for Jake. Hence the reason the term grind is there, right? The grinding has ceased. There's no work. Okay, people look out the window. No optimism no more. Okay, everything feels dark and bleak. Okay, and you know what? Funny enough, just a little sideline factor. There was YouTube has a whole bunch of stuff. Online, of course, was we're in the age of information. There was a girl that was watching 80s movies, and she said the picture and the life that 80s movies have when you watch an 80s movie, the way the sun shines, the way everybody looks, is more livelier, more vibrant compared to watching a movie today. And I just said in my mind, I said, that's because the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, has been squeezing the soul and spirit of this kingdom slowly but surely. Because obviously 40 to 50 years ago, there's a little bit more life, more mirth, more so-called fun. But right now, we're at the tail end of this kingdom. Hence the reason why everything looks more bleak and grey. And everything is just, it was terrible back then, but it's even more terrible now. Okay, because the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is putting that squeeze in this place. All right. Let's go to the video again. Let's see what Jake is saying. 400 applications, huh?
DM me the word list and I'll send it to you.
We're approaching the end of May and I'm still unemployed. in the
list, then DM me the word list and I'll send it to you.
We're approaching the end of May and I'm still unemployed. In the past month alone, since April, I put in about maybe 400 applications across many different sites for many different roles. I finished my master's degree last month. I've not received an invitation for one interview since then.
Okay, in a month he's done about approximately, from what I got, in about a month he's done about 400 applications. The man's done a master's degree, okay? And all the applications he sent out, not one job he's received. Not one, message or email for a video call, an interview, coming into an office, right? Not one. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? 400 applications in a couple of weeks, or what he said, a month, and no response. Can somebody say the word crickets? Here again.
I'll send it to you.
We're approaching the end of May and I'm still
If you want access to that list, then DM me the word list and I'll send it to you.
We're approaching the end of May and I'm still unemployed. In the past month alone, since April, I put in about maybe 400 applications across many different sites for many different roles. I finished my master's degree last month. I've not received an invitation for one interview since then. I've applied for so many entry-level roles, retail roles, sales roles, recruitment consultants, tailored my CV for every single one of these roles. I have not received one invitation for an interview yet. Honestly, I just give up with the whole thing. I honestly do not care anymore. The job market is absolutely cooked. In the UK, it's done.
It's a common theme. It's cooked. That's a good title for it as well. Let's see if there's any more scriptures I can add to it. No. Okay. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 7:6. An end is come. The end is come. It watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. All right. So we're seeing the demise of this world, man. Okay. We're seeing the demise of this world, and it's a beautiful thing. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Let's reiterate what they said, the common theme. The job market is cooked, and indeed it is. Brakti Habashim Yashai for that.